Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. Hope you guys are all doing very well. It is currently Monday afternoon. Tyler and I are off work. We're about to go on a little Costco run, a little Goodwill run, which just seems like a very adulting, glorious day. I love those types of days when we're just like running errands and not having a lot to do other than just checking things off the to-do list. But all our joyful idleness, I will say, is coming to an end soon because we are about to go back to busy weeks of work. If you want to see what we got up to in our fun week off, I'll link you to last week's reading vlog, but there was a lot in there and we did a lot together, which was lovely. But this week, I am back on my mystery thriller kick. So without further ado, let's get into the TBR. So at the moment, I am in the middle of a lot of mystery thriller series, which is great, but I tend to just let them linger for a long time, and I'm not the best at picking up the next one. So I thought it would be a great week to just prioritize getting back to some series that I have neglected and series that I truly, truly love, but my attention has been elsewhere. So with that, I'm going to pick two books up in two separate mystery series that I'm really, really excited to get into, especially since I think this week will be the first really autumnal weather week that we've had. It's been pretty warm here, but next couple days are going to be 50s, 60s. So I'll be ready to curl up with a blanket and read some great, cozy, atmospheric mystery thrillers. So the first book that I'm planning to pick up this week is Louise Penny's Bury Your Dead. This is the sixth one, I believe, in the Three Pine series. And I will link my video where I talked about the fifth one, which was The Brutal Telling. And I was a little bit disappointed by that one for a couple of reasons. So it is with some hesitation that I pick up this new installment. I really hope that I like it because my life without Louise Penny, or if I stop loving this series, would just be tragic. But I'm really hoping that I enjoy this one. I am just 30 pages into this. I started reading it this morning. So far, I'm just having all of the wonderful vibes of being back in Louise Penny's world. One thing that makes me a little nervous about this one is in the last book, Brutal Telling, one of the recurring characters is involved in a murder mystery, and I hated how that ended. And it's kind of picking up again in this one. So I'll be very curious how that gets resolved, how that gets discussed. But so far, we're just scene setting. We're just getting kind of the details on the murder mystery. So don't have too many thoughts about this one, but so far really, really enjoying it. I'm using my bookmark from my wedding, which is lovely. So that is the first one I will be reading this week. And then I will be also picking up the second book in the Dublin Murder Squad, which I read in the woods maybe 4 years or something ridiculous ago. So it is time to get back on this. The second one is called The Likeness. And this is about Detective Cassie Maddox. She goes to a crime scene and the victim looks exactly like her. And I believe she's carrying a ID, which is an alias that Cassie used to use. This feels very chunky, so I'll be interested to see what I end up thinking of this. But I'm going to pick this up after I finish Louise Penny. With both of these, I acknowledge I can't tell you too much without spoilers, but I will, of course, still give you my spoiler-free thoughts, my ratings, all my thoughts. So I'm really excited to get into a fun week of mystery thriller reading. But with that, I think Tyler is out of the shower now at 2 p.m. I just got out of the shower at 1:30 p.m. So no shade, but we're having a very lazy day. But we're finally getting our day started. So I think we are about to head off to Costco and pick up some things for the house.
happy Wednesday. Every time I say that, I think of Winnie the Pooh. Happy Wednesday, Piglet. So today was my first day back at work, which went fine. It's always an adjustment, like going back. Apologize if you can hear Clarence yelling. It's always an adjustment, kind of getting back into the swing of things, but went well. No big hiccups, no big issues. And then came home, read, listened to some fall like ambient Spotify playlists, have a book parcel. So just easing into a very cozy fall. It does feel very autumnal today. It's like 60 degrees. I had to get the jasmine plant in to the reading room for the first time. So if you're not familiar with the whole saga of the jasmine plant, basically I had a tea plant in my reading room for a very long time. I killed it. I don't know how. And then I decided to get a jasmine plant, which has been outside in the garden. Tyler and I are big vegetable gardeners, so it's just been sitting out there in a pot. But now it is finally, or it was finally the day that it came into the reading room. So it sat up there. I really hope that this goes better than the tea plant, but you never know. So I do have a bit of a reading update. I have not finished anything, but I have made my way through a bit more of the book. And then I also have a book parcel for you guys, which was on the mail for me, or which was on the doorstep for me when I got home today. And I know what this is. I pre-ordered it, but still, the rush is there. It is the new Frida McFadden, The Intruder. I have never read a Frida McFadden. Oh my goodness, these sprayed edges. So it says, I don't know if you can see this, but it says, "What is she hiding?" with little like water droplets. I've never read a Frida McFadden, but I have been very interested too. This one came out yesterday. Yes, yesterday. It says, "Who knows what the storm will blow in? Casey's cabin in the wilderness is not built for a hurricane. Her roof shakes, the lights flicker, and the tree outside her front door sways ominously in the wind. But she's a lot more worried about the girl she discovers lurking outside her kitchen window." Wow. So I am going to pick this up here shortly, probably this month. So you'll see this in the October vlogs. But yes, very excited. I also love the cover. It has like shiny, and then all of a sudden, like where this broken glass is, it's like matte, which I just think looks really cool. Nothing crazy on the front of the hardback. So that is the book mail. Bury Your Dead by Louise Penny. Oh my goodness. I am just loving this so much. All of my qualms with the last book are being readdressed so far. So I'll be annoyed if they're not fully readdressed, but at least they're being brought up again in here, which is very nice. It is so cozy, so atmospheric. The food descriptions are just incredible. Like this takes place kind of in the winter season, and so everybody's drinking like bowls of hot chocolate and just the best, the absolute best. The descriptions of Quebec in the winter time are also incredible. I love being back in Three Pines with Ruth Sardo and Clara and all the people. Well, not all the people, if you know, you know, but most of the people. And yeah, it's just decadent and beautiful, and I love picking these up at this time of the year, and I think that I will enjoy this one much more than the last one. I have just been thoroughly enjoying it. And if you haven't read the Three Pines series, highly recommend picking up Still Life. I think that this series is one of the best series out there. It's particularly mystery thriller series. Like it just next level. So, hoping to finish this tomorrow. I'm only about halfway through, but I'm hoping I can bust through the last little bit, finish this tomorrow, and then move on to the likeness because I do need to step up my reading pace just a bit this week. All right. Hello, everybody. It is Friday night. Another Friday night in. Hashtag Friday night in. Is that a thing? No? Okay. I have a cup of peppermint tea, and I had a very laid back day today. I went for a lovely, lovely walk in the woods. Took some B-roll for you guys, some footage. Made it into a little, I don't know, a little interlude of the vlog. Let me know what you thought of that. It was actually really, really fun to put together. So I can continue doing that if you like those in the vlog or not. What else? I'm still kind of getting over this cold a little bit. I feel like well enough to go about my day, but I just kind of feel stuffed up and a little like low energy, which is what typically happens to me at this time of the year, so nothing new. And Tyler is working nights, I'm working days, so we're in a little bit of a like he comes home, then I come home type of thing. I have been having this weird feeling that I truthfully haven't had in such a long time, because I finished my residency a year ago. For anyone who's not aware of residency hours, they are such that you you are very consumed with being in the hospital and your job and all of those things. Um, I would argue too much, but that's a story for another day. But it feels very weird, like being a year out and having days where I'm like, I guess I just like get to do what I want today. And I'm still kind of adjusting to that, which seems like a silly thing to say. But like having had a couple of weeks off work and now just having like some sporadic shifts over the past week, I woke up today and I was like, okay, read a bit of my book. And I was like, man, it's a whole new phase of life, which is kind of crazy. When you go from working 80 hours a week to working like a normal schedule, um, it's really nice. But when you have any type like time off, my brain at least struggles with that. So it's been a little bit of like a restless anxiety type of day, something I'm very familiar with. um, but I think also just like part of a new phase of life and getting used to that. And so I'm not upset about it at all. Like I can't be like upset about not having to work. It's just very different and very kind of like eerie and abnormal. Or normal, nor abnormally normal. So I have, after that very long rant, I have finished one book, started bits of another book, and I have no book mail for the first time in a while. So let us chat about Bury Your Dead. So I gave this 4.5 stars. It was almost a 5-star read, but the end part had some. Let me put it this way. I don't think the plot reveals were as tight as they could be. I think there were some plot conveniences, some parts where you kind of had to suspend your disbelief. Uh, but what I would say is I don't like this is a suspense series. I don't really read it for the suspense. This is a mystery series. I don't necessarily read it for the reveal. And that's not something that I've ever experienced with any other series. But for this series, I read it for the comfort. Um, and the mystery is kind of a added bonus, but I read it for the characters, I read it for the comfort, and I read it for just like all of those things. And so the fact that I didn't like the reveal at the end didn't drop it more than half a star because it's just not what I prioritize in this series. So 4.5 stars. I did like a lot of the things that happened in here. Gamache, who is the head detective, he's dealing a lot with being wrong and not being perfect. And that felt like in a lot of ways he seems very like Holmesian, but he's a lot more human than him and a lot more fallible than him. And I liked that we explored that in this one. Definitely this like the book should be read in order. So much of this book has to do with what happened in the previous book. So if you're picking them up, definitely start with Still Life and work your way forward. But I did like how this one played on the other one and how we got some resolution and like how that all kind of went. So 4.5 stars, really, really thoroughly enjoyed this. And I hope that the next time I pick one of these up, it is not months. Well, probably will be at least a month, but not as long as it has been from the last one. Um, and then I have started Tana French's The Likeness. I don't have very many thoughts. I am about one chapter into this, so still make my way through it, but am enjoying the first little bit of it. It is nice to be back in Tana French's writing. And this Tana French is so much more plotty than the Hunter the Searcher series. I feel like so much of that is like scene setting, slow character builds, whereas this has got a bit more bite to it and action. Clarence is just stretching, which I'm really liking so far. But again, one chapter in. What? I can't really say a whole lot about it. So tomorrow, Saturday, I am going to hang out with my friend Charlotte. I'm going to bring her some radishes because she is a big radish fan. Our radishes are like starting to finally be mature. I don't know if you can have like a radish seems to be the same when it's little and when it's big. So I don't know if I pick it too early, if it's going to be like bitter or we're just going to be a small adult radish. I don't know if that made any sense, but I'm going to pick her some radishes, head over to her house. We're going to watch some football. We're going to eat some chili and just have a very like fall cozy day. And then I work on Sunday again. So it'll be a little bit of a relaxed day tomorrow. And then I'll be back to my normal 7 to 7, not 9 to 5, but 7 to 7, which maybe will feel a little bit less uneasy for me. All right. I get the feeling that this lighting is poor, but it's the end of a day of work. I just got back, and I have a nice glass of wine. Today was kind of a brutal day at work. All the humans are fine. I'm fine, but it was a long day. So, cheers. Um, what does Taylor Swift say? That's show business, baby. Something like that. That's what I have to say about this lighting. And baby, that's show business for you. Wow, what a week. What a day. I am just beyond exhausted. But I'm not going to whinge. I am here to wrap up the vlog, give you guys some updates on how the rest of the week went. And yeah, I think I have not told you very much about The Likeness. And I was watching my footage back from last week and I didn't like I prefer telling you about the books and then going into the wrap up rather than like telling you about the books during the wrap up of the books that I've gotten halfway through, if that makes any sense at all. So I'm on chapter 10 of this, so nearing the halfway point, and I am listening to this on audio as well as reading it physically, which is great because this is a slow burn with a capital S, like extremely, extremely slow burn read. And so I feel like that keeps things interesting, keeps the pace good. I think if I was reading it just physically, I might struggle a little bit, but in that format, I am really, really enjoying this. I'm having so much fun with it, and it feels very fall. It feels very dark academia. So I think I've told you bits of this, so sorry if I'm being a little bit repetitive. But basically, our main character is Cassie. She is deciding to go undercover because she turns up to a crime scene one day and the victim looks exactly like her and is holding a fake ID or an alias from somebody that Cassie once went undercover as, which I think is just a great hook. And then we go in as she pretends to be the girl who has passed away. And it's just like she actually didn't pass away. She just went to the hospital. She came back from a coma and here she is. But in fact, the girl that Cassie is being has passed away, if that makes any sense. And so she goes to live in this little house with 4 roommates. And they're all in college. They're all English majors. They're all kind of snooty and obnoxious. And she's kind of like infiltrating them from the outside in to try and figure out if any of them were involved in Lexi, that's the alias's murder. And I think because this takes place with like college students and and they're often talking about like their work and literature, it has very much that dark academic vibe, academia vibe. I just like think the setup of this is so interesting. Like there's so many questions that I want to know. How did this person know Cassie's alias of Lexi? Like how did that happen? Um, what is the connection between the two? Are they going to find Cassie out in this house that she's like faking being somebody else? Yeah, I just feel like it's such a good setup, and I'm really really enjoying it so far. I would say definitely prepare yourself for a slow burn if you're going to go into this. Like real slow. But I think we're ramping up and I'm having a really fun time with it. So, really enjoying this one, but still have quite a ways to go. So, this will be a holdover book into next week. We are now in the wrap up segment. This week, I read 586 pages. Divide by 7. That is 83.7 pages per day, which is pretty low for me. I did feel that at times this week. I did feel a little slumpy. I think part of it is I didn't listen to a lot on audio other than the tandem reading of the likeness. I was just listening to podcasts and other things I was interested in. So usually I like rack up some pages listening to audiobooks, but just wasn't in the mood this week. And there was a day in there, I want to say it was like Saturday or Sunday, where I just like didn't want to read at all. And so that kind of like makes the average seem like I'm reading less, but really the days that I'm reading, I was probably reading about the same amount. I just didn't want to read every day of the week, which probably, work and getting back into things was probably part of that. So, yeah. So overall, okay, but definitely lower than I typically am. So I would love to see if next week maybe I can step it up just a bit. And then this week I only finished one book. I finished Bury Your Dead by Louise Penny, which I gave 4.5 stars, and I'm halfway through The Likeness. So the quote this week comes from page 253 of Bury Your Dead. And it says, "A lot of what we know to be history isn't," says Gamache. "You know that. I know that. It serves a purpose. Events are exaggerated, heroes fabricated, goals are rewritten to appear more noble than they actually were. All to manipulate public opinion to manufacture a common purpose or enemy. And the cornerstone of a really great movement, a powerful symbol. Take away or tarnish that and everything starts to crumble. Everything's questioned. Can't have that." I just thought that was a really interesting sentiment. So, if you made it to the end of this video, leave me a fall leaf emoji for my lovely little fall walk that I took in the middle of this vlog. And with that, I will see you guys all very soon with another video. Bye.